Hi, this is Rachel Wright here with Verdant Strategies, and today we're at the amazing, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, Benzinga Capital Conference. It's the event that if people look at any events that they're going to go to, this is among the top.
Oh,
the
it's
top
kind of
one or two. If you got to go to two, this is one of two. Okay, so
kind of you to say.
Thank you. No, I'm very serious. So
That's
we've got all the
praise.
movers and shakers
That's high
here.
praise.
Yes.
You know, we're thrilled to be able to provide a platform, right?
Yeah.
We've always wanted to do that. 8 years we've been doing this now, right?
Yeah.
I know some of you OGs in this space have been here a long time, but we feel like we've been in the trenches with them for 8 years.
You have.
It's insane.
You have. I mean, I'm sure you've heard all the stories and
oh yeah.
You've seen people come and go.
We have.
Right?
There've been some new announcements recently, receiverships and things of that nature, and it's tough. It's tough. Most of these people are our friends.
Yes.
You know, it's always hard to see that.
But there's the silver lining because there's companies that are actually operating real companies.
That's right.
There are investors that are actually looking at true investments.
Yeah.
And they're here. And there's also professional services firms that are doing very well. And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to running a business the right way, right?
Well, you know what I think is really interesting, especially about what I see here, right, and who I see here. I still see a lot of familiar faces, right? I see some of us that have been doing this a while. And I also see a lot of new people.
Yes.
New faces I've never seen before. New license holders, new operators, right? I've come across 3 people in the last hour who are opening dispensaries, right? I find it so interesting that in an industry that is otherwise struggling in a lot of ways, there's still new business to be had.
Right.
You know? Still new ways to service cannabis consumers.
Totally.
You know? And it's very cool to run into those folks.
Well, and I think those of us that have been in the industry have an obligation to help these business owners and help other people and let them know what pitfalls to avoid because they can be avoided. We have years of knowledge now. Yeah. Right?
I'd be curious from your point of view, when you see these new operators, what's like the number one thing that you tell them? Like, what's the thing?
You know, it depends on which market, but I would say, obviously, because I'm a finance professional and tax professional, you want to surround yourself with the best team you possibly can, right? You really need an attorney, you need an accountant, there's other things you absolutely need. Always stay relevant too, always stay ahead of the curve. So those are really important. Yes.
Great advice.
And come to Benzinga Capital Conference.
I didn't pay her to say that, I promise.
And I didn't even get to say your name, Patrick Lane.
Oh, it's kind of you.
Yeah, and so you and your brother, can you just tell us a little bit because this is a fascinating story. Yeah.
Happy to, right? Yeah. So, you know, I'm one half of the Lane brothers at Benzinga, right? And so Jason Raznick, who founded the company Benzinga in like 2010, thereabouts, right? He was always interested in the cannabis industry, right? And he started getting ahead of the curve, encouraging Javier Hasse, right, to cover the space editorially. So we were one of the first major, and I say major because we have a massive audience, right?
Huge.
First major financial publication to cover cannabis, right? This was before Forbes and Fortune and Insider and all these other companies.
And thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you, right? But our mission was to sort of make these complex, you know, especially in a regulated industry and all of these issues, right? These complex issues easier to understand for the lay investor, right? That was our mission, still is, right?
Right.
But then 2017, I came on in 2016, and I came on to found Benzinga's events business. 2017, we said, all right, let's do it. Let's do a cannabis conference.
Do it.
Right. So we did it. First one ever was in Toronto. Right. We've done so many of them throughout the country now. 8 years we've been running these. Now we're in Chicago, and it feels like it's been a century. Right.
Yes.
But you know, I tell everybody, Mom made me hire him. Right. But Elliot's my younger brother. 5-year gap between us, but. You know, he's an amazing hard worker. He put together the agenda with Javi for this conference, and he's sort of running cannabis for us now, right? I lead revenue for Benzinga, and Elliot runs our cannabis business, right? So it's been an amazing thing to watch him grow into the role. It's been really fun. point of pride for me, obviously, but you know, also just I love what we've been able to build.
Me too.
Right? We're still here. We're still relevant. You know, 8 years later, conference scene is tough anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're still here.
Yeah. What I do love is, I mean, there's a couple things I want to highlight. Thank you to Jason, by the way. I haven't seen Jason.
He'll be here.
Today he'll be here. So
He'll
we'll say hi to Jason.
Yeah.
Very humble. Love him. But I also love the market spotlights that you're doing.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to, you have New York coming up and New Jersey, is that correct?
So New Jersey we did.
Yes.
New Jersey, and it was a big success.
Right.
Yeah, it was way more people than we anticipated. It was great.
Yes.
California is coming up. Yes, so October 8th, California will be in Anaheim, right?
Great. I love that venue.
Oh, it's a great venue, right? So we're excited to go back. We had a great time there last year. We're already pacing very well in terms of attendance there. So it's definitely something people should consider.
Yeah. And consider sponsoring as well. I think that's always great.
Oh,
you know,
always helpful.
For sure.
Always helpful.
Yep.
But then think about Elliot and I and Javi, we have a checklist. We want to go to other markets.
Yes.
We want to do more of these market spotlights. How can we do more? We know what we think the checks are.
Yeah.
Right? These are the things we need to be able to run a solid event, one that's going to be valuable to the attendees in that market. That's what we care about, right? We don't want to do an event for event's sake, because there's so many on the calendar these days, right? But certain markets are ripe, and we're looking at them. Right?
Yeah. New York and New Jersey are our target markets too. So, and California obviously has always been. That's our home base. So that's never going to go away. You know, so I'm really glad that you pay attention to California. It's one of the biggest markets in the country.
I think it's wrong not to.
Yes.
Right? And God bless them, all those people out there dealing with everything they're dealing with, right? But it's such a vibrant community. People who know the plant, who care about the plant, and who've sort of been the front runners for years in the U.S. cannabis space. So, you know, it makes sense for us to pay homage to that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Benzinga as a financial news network and platform, subscription-based. Is that right?
Yeah. So 14 million individual investors per month read our content, right? And that's just on benzinga.com, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know this. We were founded as an editorial group to write news, right? Cover the markets. We also license our news, right? And so when you are logging on to Robinhood or Charles Schwab or Fidelity, eToro, whatever your brokerage platform is, and you're looking at a stock, you're looking at the articles, the news for that stock on your brokerage, chances are we wrote it. Right?
Wow.
So millions upon millions of people every month interacting with our content, right? And that's our place in this world, this crazy financial world. It's, you know, how can we make complex financial, sometimes medical for biotech stocks, the cannabis space, these complex stories and news pieces easier to understand and more actionable for the individual investor.
Those are two important. That's very important. Easy to understand and actionable.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's really it.
We want more financially illiterate people in this world. I mean, it touches everybody.
Yes.
So we try to make things that are very complicated simple.
Yes. And we've been very blessed, right? Yeah. We've been blessed to have the user interest that we've had. It's only grown over the years. We offer our own subscription offerings now. And
PR announcements. I know we've used Benzinga for PR announcements. So
I will say this too, just as a point of pride. You know, every once in a while, it's flattering that someone will come up to me and say, "Hey, this random guy told me I could pay him $15,000 to break news with you." And I said, no. Breaking news with us is free.
Yeah.
Right? We want to break news. We're happy to break news, right? If it's material, if it's relevant to our audience, we will break it for free. There's no problem there, right? So I always love to tell that story because, you know, we're in it for our investor community, but also for these companies who need an outlet.
Yes. Yeah, they need a platform.
They do.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
It's my
well,
pleasure.
I appreciate it. I always love seeing you.
Oh my God, you too. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for welcoming me into your office. It's beautiful.
I appreciate it.
Shout out to the marketing team. Right?
Yes.
What a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah. And well, thank you very much. Good to see you as always. Rachel Wright here at Benzinga Capital Conference in Chicago. One of the key events of the year, and I'm looking forward to your market spotlights in the future.
We're looking forward to hosting you.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.